You've probably heard that sugar is the enemy of diabetes, but what if I told you that some meats could be just as bad, or even worse? Many people focus on cutting out sweets while unknowingly eating meats that fuel insulin resistance, inflammation, and blood sugar spikes. The truth is, certain meats can silently sabotage your health, making it harder to manage diabetes and increasing your risk of serious complications. What makes this even scarier is that some of the worst offenders are meats you might be eating every day. Meats that seem harmless but are actually loaded with unhealthy fats, preservatives, and hidden sugars. These meats don't just affect your blood sugar, they also increase your risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and weight gain, making diabetes management even more challenging. That's why in this video, we're breaking down the top 6 worst meats diabetics must avoid. And trust me, some of these might surprise you. If you're serious about controlling your blood sugar and protecting your health, stay with me until the end, because the number 1 worst meat is something many people eat without realizing how dangerous it is. Worst meat number 6, bacon and processed pork. One of the biggest concerns with processed pork is its fat content. These meats contain high amounts of saturated fats, which have been shown to increase insulin resistance, making it harder for your body to regulate blood sugar. Over time, this can lead to more frequent spikes and a greater risk of diabetes complications. But the problems don't stop there. These meats are also packed with nitrates and preservatives, chemicals linked to increased inflammation and a higher risk of metabolic disorders. Studies have found that eating processed meats regularly can raise the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by over 50%. A shocking statistic that should make any diabetic think twice before reaching for that next strip of bacon. Another hidden danger is sodium. Processed pork is loaded with salt, which can drive up blood pressure and put extra strain on the heart. Many diabetics already struggle with hypertension, and a high-sodium diet only makes things worse. Over time, excessive salt intake can damage blood vessels, increase the risk of stroke, and contribute to heart disease, the leading cause of death for people with diabetes. If you're trying to protect your health, it's time to rethink processed pork. Worst meat number 5, fried chicken. Made from refined flour, starches, and sometimes even added sugars, the crispy coating is a carbohydrate bomb that can lead to sharp blood sugar spikes. And because deep frying seals in the fat and carbs, it takes longer to digest, keeping blood sugar elevated for hours. Many people don't realize just how much these extra carbs impact their glucose levels until it's too late. But the real damage comes from the frying process itself. Fast food chains and restaurants often use hydrogenated oils, which contain trans fats, one of the worst types of fat for diabetics. Trans fats not only raise bad cholesterol, but also increase inflammation and insulin resistance, making it even harder to control blood sugar. Even when fried at home, chicken is often cooked in oils that are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which have been linked to increased inflammation and metabolic issues. Beyond that, fried chicken is often loaded with extra sodium. Many restaurants marinate chicken in salt-heavy brines before frying, and then the final product is often seasoned with even more salt. For diabetics, this combination is a ticking time bomb for high blood pressure, kidney issues, and an increased risk of heart disease. The excess sodium can also lead to water retention, causing bloating and discomfort, especially for those already dealing with circulation problems. The good news is that there are healthier alternatives that still deliver flavor without the risks. Instead of deep frying, try oven-baked or air-fried chicken with a light coating of almond flour or whole-grain breadcrumbs. Using herbs and spices instead of salt-heavy seasonings can help enhance the taste without raising blood pressure. Choosing grilled, roasted, or sautéed chicken instead of fried options can make a huge difference in blood sugar stability and overall health. Fried chicken might be a classic, but it's one of the worst meats for diabetics due to its carb-heavy breading, inflammatory oils, and excessive sodium. The combination of trans fats, refined flour, and hidden sugars makes it a meal that works against blood sugar. If you're serious about managing diabetes and reducing complications, it's best to skip the fryer and opt for healthier cooking methods instead. Worst meat number 4. Red meat. Beef, lamb, pork. For many people, a juicy steak or a perfectly grilled burger is the ultimate meal. But for diabetics, regularly eating red meat, whether it's beef, lamb, or pork, can lead to serious health risks that go beyond just blood sugar spikes. While red meat is often praised for its protein and iron content, it also comes with hidden dangers that can make diabetes harder to manage. One of the biggest concerns with red meat is its high saturated fat content. Diets rich in saturated fats have been shown to increase insulin resistance, making it more difficult for the body to regulate blood sugar effectively. Over time, this can lead to higher glucose levels and an increased risk of diabetes complications. Saturated fats also contribute to weight gain, particularly in the abdominal area, which is closely linked to worsening insulin sensitivity. Another issue is the link between red meat and inflammation. Research suggests that consuming large amounts of red meat can trigger chronic inflammation, which plays a key role in the progression of type 2 diabetes and other metabolic disorders. Inflammation can damage blood vessels, increase the risk of heart disease, and even make insulin less effective. Processed red meats like sausages and deli cuts are even worse, as they contain preservatives and additives that further fuel inflammation and oxidative stress. Cooking methods also matter. Grilling, barbecuing, and pan-searing red meat at high temperatures create harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products, AGEs, and heterocyclic amines, HCAs, which have been linked to increased insulin resistance and a higher risk of chronic diseases. These compounds contribute to oxidative stress in the body, making it harder for diabetics to maintain stable blood sugar levels. Portion size is another major problem. Many people consume far more red meat than they actually need, often making it the centerpiece of their meals. Studies have found that people who eat red meat frequently have a significantly higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes compared to those who consume it in moderation or replace it with plant-based proteins. Even lean cuts of red meat, when eaten in excess, can still contribute to these risks over time. For diabetics looking to protect their health, cutting back on red meat and swapping it for healthier protein sources can make a huge difference. Lean poultry, fish, and plant-based proteins like lentils, beans, and tofu are excellent alternatives that provide the necessary nutrients without the added risks. If you still choose to eat red meat, sticking to small portions of lean cuts and using gentler cooking methods like baking or stewing can help reduce its negative impact. While red meat may be a dietary staple for many, it's far from the best option for those managing diabetes. The combination of saturated fat, inflammation, and harmful cooking byproducts makes it one of the worst choices for stable blood sugar and long-term health. Worst meat number 3, hot dogs and processed meats. A single hot dog or a few slices of deli meat can contain more than half the recommended daily intake of sodium. For diabetics, this is a major concern because high sodium levels contribute to elevated blood pressure, which is already a common issue for those managing diabetes. Too much sodium can lead to water retention, increase strain on the heart, and raise the risk of strokes and kidney disease. Over time, excessive salt intake can cause lasting damage to blood vessels, making diabetes complications even more severe. Another hidden danger in processed meats is the presence of nitrates and nitrites, preservatives used to enhance flavor and extend shelf life. When consumed in large amounts, these compounds have been linked to inflammation, insulin resistance, and even an increased risk of cancer. Chronic inflammation is particularly concerning for diabetics because it can worsen insulin function and contribute to a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes-related complications, such as nerve damage and cardiovascular disease. Processed meats are also packed with unhealthy fats, including trans fats and excessive saturated fats, which can negatively impact cholesterol levels. Trans fats are known to raise LDL, bad cholesterol, while lowering HDL, good cholesterol, increasing the risk of heart disease, something diabetics are already more susceptible to. Saturated fats from processed meats can also contribute to belly fat accumulation, which is closely linked to worsening insulin sensitivity. Many processed meats also contain added sugars and fillers, which can spike blood sugar unexpectedly. Manufacturers often use corn syrup, dextrose, or other sweeteners in processed meats to improve flavor. While these amounts may seem small, regular consumption can contribute to frequent blood sugar fluctuations, making diabetes management even more challenging. For diabetics looking to make better choices, switching to fresh, unprocessed protein sources is key. Worst meat number 2: barbecue and smoked meats. Most store-bought and restaurant-style barbecue sauces are loaded with added sugars, often in the form of high-fructose corn syrup, honey, or molasses. Even a small serving of barbecue sauce can contain as much sugar as a candy bar, leading to rapid spikes in blood sugar that are difficult to control. Many people don't realize just how much sugar is in their BBQ meal until they check their glucose levels later. Smoked meats also pose a problem due to the way they're prepared. The smoking process creates harmful compounds called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, and heterocyclic amines, HCAs, which have been linked to increased inflammation and insulin resistance. Since diabetes is already a disease driven by inflammation, regularly consuming smoked meats can make the condition even worse, increasing the risk of complications like nerve damage, kidney disease, and heart problems. Barbecue meats are also high in sodium and unhealthy fats, especially if they come from processed cuts like smoked sausages, bacon, or fatty ribs. Excess sodium can cause high blood pressure, fluid retention, and heart strain, which are already major concerns for diabetics. The combination of saturated fats and excess calories can also contribute to weight gain and insulin resistance, making it harder to maintain stable blood sugar levels. Another issue is the use of processed meats in many barbecue dishes. Smoked and cured meats like ham, sausages, and brisket are often treated with nitrates and preservatives that have been linked to inflammation and a higher risk of diabetes-related complications. These chemicals can increase oxidative stress in the body, damaging cells, and making it harder for insulin to do its job properly. For diabetics who love barbecue, there are healthier alternatives that don't sacrifice flavor. Instead of sugary barbecue sauces, try homemade versions using tomato paste, vinegar, and natural spices to control sugar intake. Choose leaner cuts of meat like skinless chicken breast, turkey, or fish, and grill them instead of smoking or slow cooking in sugary marinades. Instead of processed meats like smoked sausages, opt for fresh, unseasoned cuts of meat that can be flavored naturally with herbs and spices. While barbecue and smoked meats might be tasty, they come with serious risks for diabetics. The combination of sugar-loaded sauces, unhealthy fats, high sodium, and harmful chemicals can increase blood sugar levels, worsen insulin resistance, and contribute to long-term complications. If you're serious about protecting your health, it's best to rethink your barbecue choices and opt for healthier, lower sugar, and lower fat alternatives. Worst meat. Number 1, breaded and processed chicken nuggets. Most nuggets are coated in a layer of refined flour, cornstarch, and even sugar, creating a carb-heavy outer shell that quickly turns into glucose once it enters your bloodstream. This causes rapid blood sugar spikes, making it difficult for diabetics to maintain stable glucose levels. Even so-called healthier versions, like air-fried nuggets, still contain these carb-loaded coatings that make blood sugar harder to control. But the issues don't stop at the breading. The chicken inside most fast food and frozen nuggets is far from the fresh, high-quality protein you'd expect. Many brands use mechanically processed meat, which is a blend of low-quality chicken parts mixed with fillers, preservatives, and added sodium. This not only reduces the protein quality, but also adds unnecessary chemicals that can contribute to inflammation and insulin resistance over time. Fried nuggets are also cooked in unhealthy oils that contain trans fats and pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. These oils increase insulin resistance, raise bad cholesterol, and promote weight gain, all of which are major concerns for diabetics. Even when companies claim to use healthier oils, the reality is that most fast food chains and processed food manufacturers rely on cheap, low-quality oils that don't support good health. Another hidden danger of processed chicken nuggets is the excessive sodium content. Many store-bought and fast food nuggets are heavily salted to enhance flavor and prolong shelf life. This high sodium intake can increase blood pressure, strain the kidneys, and contribute to heart disease, which are all major concerns for diabetics. Some nugget brands contain nearly an entire day's worth of sodium in just one serving, making them a major risk factor for those trying to manage their health. For diabetics looking for a better alternative, making homemade chicken nuggets using whole chicken breast, almond flour, and baked or air-fried cooking methods can be a much healthier choice. Instead of refined flour breading, using crushed nuts or coconut flour can help keep carb intake low while still creating a crispy texture. Opting for grilled, roasted, or lightly seasoned chicken instead of deep-fried processed options is the best way to enjoy chicken without the health risks. If you've been eating any of the meats on this list, don't worry, it's never too late to make better choices. Start by reducing how often you eat them, experiment with healthier cooking methods, and focus on lean proteins that support your health rather than work against it.